All right, quick video blog. Here we go. Today is Saturday. Just been up for a minute. Haven't been. This is the first time I'm out. I have somewhat of a stuffy nose, allergies going on right now. Not a problem. I'm drinking tons of water. Super duper cold. Um, and I wanted to discuss being unstuck, getting undone from an old way of thinking that didn't work to a new way of thinking that could work. And changing those patterns and changing those ideas and frequencies in your life in order to get to where you need to get to. So being unstuck, one of the things that I talked to my uncle about yesterday is follow through. So being able to follow through on your word, and I think that's super important. As a man, you need to be able to follow through on your word, and a lot of times, we weren't. A lot of times we weren't taught that, and those that weren't taught that have to practice that in order to get really good at that, and create a pattern and a habit so that it becomes a way of living. It becomes a way of how we conduct business on every level. So we use the same formula in order to get the results in all different areas, whether it's business, romantic, pleasure, family life, whatever. You putting in that work and that follow through in order to get the results you need to get to, making that a habit. So then that habit comes routine, and people shy away from routines. I believe that routines are the roadmap into which you need in order for you to get to where you have to go. So it's the route. You reroute, right? It's a routine, and you're sometimes always, sometimes always, that doesn't make any sense. Most of the time, you are always, if you are trying to progress, go forward. If you're trying to go forward, then you are changing always. You're always changing so that you can adjust, so that you can get to where you need to get to. And it's important, that follow through. I'm not the best at it. I do get lazy, for sure. For sure I get lazy, and I don't always follow those paths. And once you notice that, once you can say that, what I just said, once you can say that to yourself, then you can go, okay, well, where do I want to be? Where do I want? You have a goal or some kind of a purpose, and you're like, okay, I want to get to the barbershop. I want to get to go to get some food. I want to go to the grocery store. I want to go work out. I want to eat better, right? You have to align yourself and go so that you can do that thing. It's really actually simple. It's just a matter of getting everybody else's thoughts and ideas out of your head. We as a society, it's a cookie cutter. The society their formula is cookie cutter. This is how you think. This is what I want you to do, because it only benefits them. That's why I believe, this is just my theory, why subscriptions are like, when they said, well, let's make it a subscription for everything. It's perfect, because people will forget. We're dumb. We're gonna forget that we are paying $9 every month for the last 10 years. And we're like, well, how did that happen? You know, it's happened to me where I subscribe to Office 360 or Microsoft Office 360, something like that. And 2-3 years later, it's like, man, we've been billing you $100. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? That's crap. Totally forgot. Totally forgot. Didn't need it, so I was just like, I deleted it. Thought that was over, but no. Anyway, follow through, creating that routine, creating that habit, doing the things you need to do in order for you to get to where you need to get to. That one thing every day. What is the one thing every day that you need to do? Do the big thing. Do the hard thing first. A lot of people have come up to me. Few people have come up to me and said, "Oh, I want to do a podcast," or "I want to do what you're doing." And it's like, my answer is, do it. That's the only way to do it, is to do it. Not make an excuse. Just document your transition. Document your each level, each day. This is what's going on in my life. Because I can tell you right now, things have changed because I've been doing this consistently. Having a podcast. I use Anchor to do my podcast, and so then I put that podcast and I broadcast it out. And I may only have 2 followers. It's all good though. Like, and my goal is, how do I reach those? How do I communicate with those followers? So then I use different platforms like social media to be able to communicate to them, and then they can ask me questions. I can talk to them. I can get to know them better. And it's a whole process. And I do these things because I need to. I want to. It's sort of a therapy. I don't know. And it's also to share my life with others, because if someone can relate, if somebody can identify, and then we can build community in that way also. And so, yeah, that's really all I wanted to say. Hope you're reading some amazing books. I am. I hope that you are drinking water. Super good. Water is life. And in the morning, I'll drink water for the first. That's the first thing I do. I don't put any food. I don't do this every day. That's what I'm saying. You gotta follow through. But what I've noticed is, and also the last thing I'll say is, what helps is, so every morning drinking water on that's your breakfast basically. That's your first wave of your first course of breakfast. It gives you energy. It's a weird. I'm not a doctor or know all those fancy things, but it gives you energy in such a way. So then I tell myself, to keep me doing that, to keep me consistent and staying on a routine, I ask myself questions. How do I feel when I do this? How do I feel when I work out? What do I notice in my body that is different and is changing versus not doing it? When I don't do it, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm angry, I'm tight, I'm rigid, and those aren't the things that I want. I'm always complaining. Leave that to the sheep. I don't want that. Leave that to the sheep. I'm trying to have energy. I'm trying to be on tip-top shape, relaxed, calm, cool, and collected. And so that's what helps me build those routines, is asking myself those questions, being in my body, saying, how does that make me feel? Right? That makes me feel a certain way. I like that feeling. I'd rather have that feeling. So do those things to get that feeling. Period. It's that simple. Deuces.